What's up, everybody? Welcome to It's the Godfreeds podcast, or The Cast, with your boy Jake. I've got a really special guest here today with me. I'm so excited about having my buddy Roderick up here, somebody that I've looked up to, my wife and I, over the years, and just seen the things that he's been able to accomplish, and knowing that he didn't start off with anything handed to him. So we're going to do what we can today. We want to inspire people. We want to let secrets out. We want to do something special. That's what we do. So you guys welcome my buddy Roderick, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me, man. And the love goes both ways, man. What y'all are doing is super inspiring, bro. So, you know, I'm honored to be here with you, man.
Man, I appreciate that, man. So there's so many people over time that we're going to try to get up in here, but you were on the short list, man. And but I want to. For guys like you and I want to inspire people the most we can. So I thought about any time I've ever been around you, you inspired me. You know, we have a similar story about overcoming obstacles, and and I want to make sure that we share as much as we can. I'm not a pro at this, and so I'm learning. And every time we shoot, I study it, and I figure, hey, man, how can I get a better message out there, a more clear message? But at the end of the day, I'm just going with my heart and soul. I'm not worried about being perfect. I'm not worried about being judged or anything. And that's some of the stuff. Just that alone, I think, just the courage and overcoming the nerves for me to do this, as many things as I've been able to do. This shook me up just a little bit because it's new. But I want even that alone to be a message to people doing this. And that's why part of it, I've been so willing to go through it, and maybe it's not right, or I'm figuring this out, and should I even do a podcast? And part of that is what I want to show people, just right there in front of them, that even this podcast process for me is something I was a little scared of, a little nervous about, and I'm going to do it though, So, but I appreciate you coming, man. I want to try to get some secrets out of you, and today I wanted to try to focus on, we can go anywhere we want to go, but I was going to try to put topics down for us to talk about so other people can hear about, like, key people in our life, right? We could talk about some key people that helped us along the way. And then, just talking about, like, what are the things that you did outside the box to get where you are, But feel free. We're doing whatever. We're sitting here chilling. We're talking, and anything people hear is going to be good for them.
Man, I love it. I love it. I was going to text you and ask, man, what we talking about, bro?
I know.
You seem like such a real dude, man. So I said, it's raw.
Yeah.
It's raw, Let's just have at it. Whatever God, lead us to talk about, we'll talk about it.
Exactly. So. But what do you think, like, what are specifics along the way that you think made the big switch for you? You could go as far back as you want, or you can go to last week, but what are some stuff that you feel like you knew, like, man, I'm on the right track because of this? Or
it's weird, man. Like, God has always had his hands on my life and always kind of guided my steps, and I didn't know that at a young age, but it seemed like every time I would go down the wrong path, something would happen that would redirect me. And every time I got redirected, it was for the best. You know what I mean? In high school, I was a star football player. I was a star track star, and my goal in life was to be an NFL running back. My goal in life was to run for Nike. And, man, we was on the path to doing so. Me and my boy Aaron Brown, who went on to play in the NFL for many years, like, we had a raw squad. Mady Creek in 05. Like, we was raw, man. But, God had to humble us, man. Like, so the day before the first day of school, as a senior in high school, we spray painted and TP'd the school. 3 days later, we got arrested, and we ended up having to go to jail for that, charged with felonies. Seniors in high school, star football players, headlining the newspapers, and I had big scholarships, and me being a smaller guy, my scholarships got rescinded. So everything I had, I lost. Yeah. Aaron was the prototype of a college running back. He's 6'1", 195. So TCU still gave him a shot. And so when that happened with me, man, I feel like, my dreams were crushed. It was kind of like, dang, man, like, this one mess up and you take everything I worked for since I was 5 years old. You know what I mean? And that sent me on a spiral that a lot of people didn't realize, because I don't like to show vulnerability. You know what I mean? Right. And then it's like, I don't cry about stuff. I just keep it moving, and I smile, I keep my head up. But I was dying inside, because it's like, my homeboy that I played ball with since a youngster, he still gets his shot. My shot's took. And I couldn't understand that, right? Yeah. And so I ended up having to go to a smaller university still played football, but it wasn't the same,
Yeah.
you know. But what I got out of that was the biggest blessing. You know, I had no self-control or discipline like that. Not because my parents were around, because they were. I just was attracted to what I was attracted to. You know what I mean? And so I went my own route. And I was always that guy that's like, I'm going to be a trailblazer. Whether it was good or bad, I'm going to try it. And so I fell into what I fell into.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is. But when I went to TLU, Texas Lutheran University, it was a smaller university. And I met professors there. I met dudes that were all about their books. I met dudes that were, you know, study heads and stuff like that I never was around before. And I was out of that Houston environment. And man, that was life-changing for me, because it was like, it taught me discipline. It taught me, you know, how to manage my time. It taught me that there's something greater than football. I'm around kids that were like, man, I want to play football, but I want to go on to law school. I want to go on to opening up this business. You know, it was conversations that I was able to have there that I never had, you know, because the cats I was around, we talking about football, we talking about fighting, we talking about going to the club. Like, it was just a restricted mindset, you know? And so I feel like those 4 years in college, it was life-changing for me, you know what I mean? And that really is what the turnaround for me, I feel, was, you know?
Damn. So, no, and that, man, that's crazy, because, you know, when I spelled out my path, it's so similar. I probably wasn't destined to go to the NFL or even on the way like you might have been, or even big school, college. I was a KD Tiger back in the day, and I used to do my buddies in. They know that. But, you know, I left. Y'all know I did y'all in. But I left early, too early. That's when I ran away. And it's the same thing, you know, in a different scale, though. That's where at that moment you feel like all those dreams and everything you worked hard for is gone. And for me, it was a simple mistake, too. You know, I was working at Papado, and the first time I ever got in trouble with the laws, I had a little bag of weed in my pocket and didn't even think to hide it or anything. And that started everything. And then you feel like no one's going to give you a job, or, you know, all those things we dream about being when we're little boys and little girls. What's the number one things we write down in kindergarten when they ask you? Because my little guy just made it. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a police officer, an astronaut. I want to be in the FBI, or, you know, or I want to be in the NFL or the NBA. That's the same list that pretty much we all do when we're kids. Now, guys like you and I that make a mistake early, how much of that list is gone? That whole list I just read's gone. The whole thing. There's nothing left on that list of dreams from when you're a kindergartner that we all write down. You're not going to be a cop. You're not going to be a teacher. You're not going to Mars or the moon. Little convictions and stuff, you know, whether big or small, takes away those dreams.
Scripture,
And, you know, and it's just crazy. And that's where you must have locked into something similar to me, that when I lost, because there was a point I was silly enough to think I might play ball in the pros or something, right? Because I was a confident dude. I still am. So I always, in the back of my mind, you know, I was going to be Michael Jordan. When I was out there playing hoops in Brookshire, Texas on a dirt court growing up, and I used to fade away everybody, you know, I really did. There was a point in my life I thought I could do this. I'm going to be the greatest basketball player of all time, baby. And then, but then they take those dreams away, and I'd already decided or knew at that point that I messed up, that I wasn't going to be a pro. But something inside, I guess, guys like you and I, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but somehow we get redirected to saying, wait a minute, no, I could still be a superstar, a franchise player. I could still make the money the NFL guys do, have that freedom, because it's really, at the end of the day, to me, it's not the money, it's the freedom that financial, you know, can get you. Good, you know. But yeah, did you lock into that? Did you decide I'm still gonna be the baddest dude, even though it ain't ball?
I always thought that, man. They used to tell me, man, you only 5'5", 135. I'm like, but look, I'm the baddest.
Oh,
you know, I always felt like, look, I'm the baddest.
Yeah.
And so if there's somebody badder than me, but you got to find it. You know, and that's just that was my mentality, and it still is. Like anything I do, I started Howdy because they try to talk me out of Howdy. The parents of my employees said, you don't know what you're getting into. You don't have a child with special needs. This is going to be too much for you. The founder of Howdy was like, Rod, you're young, you're ambitious, you have companies that are making great money. Why do you want to get into the restaurant industry? It's the turnover is crazy. You know, customer service is really hard. People are mean. Everything negative, because he had experienced that. He spent his last 20 years in the restaurant industry. I have never opened one. And that's the kind of stuff that drives me. Like when everybody's like, don't, I feel like that where there's frustration, there's change. You know what I mean? And so I saw that everybody is frustrated about not being able to hire these individuals, and there's a shortage of jobs, but people are running from it because it's too much of an obstacle to tackle, you know? And so that's where I come in. I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was that guy.
Yeah.
I want to bully the bully, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like, who y'all run from, I'm going to show that he's a man just like we are. And so, you know, I just took my negative energy and turned it into positive, you know? But it took individuals that I feel like God has blessed me with a lot not because it's about money. Like, I don't care about money. Money's paper that doesn't identify who I am.
Exactly.
I feel like, though, he has to give a lot to some people to get others' attention. Because, unfortunately, if you don't have, people don't listen.
Yep.
And there's some people out here that have the most knowledge and game in the world.
Yeah.
But because they don't have a nice car or chains or money or a big house, people walk right past them or they tune them out. Like, they don't have knowledge that can be given, right? And so I feel like God gave me a platform and he gave me things that attract individuals, but he gave that to me so that I could share jewels and share things that I've learned and I've gone through to help individuals, you know what I mean? And so that's what I use it for. I don't care about the money. I still like to deal with regular people, you know? I don't ask people what they do, how much they make, none of that. It means nothing to me. I care about people's hearts because mine's big as gold, you know? So
exactly.
That's where I'm at with it.
No, we owe it to people. We've been blessed so much. And no, I love how you said that, man. Us being financially well off, and there's a lot of different ways to look at that. We can be well off to some people and not to others, no matter how much money you make.
You're right about
but
that.
you know, what are you going to do with it once God blesses you with some extra money and that freedom and time and business success? And that's where the challenge is. What we're doing right now. Now we see where this road is taking us, because like you said, it helps us get a little attention. Because we've done well for ourselves. No, so now people listen. Well, they're going to find out the hardest part. That's the longest part of the story, right? The short part is the part that got your attention. Yeah, exactly. But you need to hear the long part. Correct. You need to hear the hard part of the story. Correct. And so, you know, that's just unbelievable because, you know, here we are, you know, proof's in the pudding up here. This costs money. Right? To do something like this. I'm spending money on this, folks, okay? So there's nothing for free. I got to pay a studio to do this. I decided instead of doing it for advertising, the same thoughts that you just expressed, that, hey, I've been blessed with a little extra money. You thought about paying for commercials. And then I said, no, that's not what it's about. Yeah. We ain't doing commercials. We're going to get the message out. So I had to buy people's attention. Now, of course, close family and friends are going to tune into what we're doing. It's on our phone. My dad's excited, pumped up. He's saying he wants to come up here and do a kata in front of everybody. Cool. I'm going to do a kata at 70 years old. You think I could do that? I said, man, Butch, we might be rich as hell over your kata. I might have thought I did good, and then Butch comes up here with the kata. And we go viral, and it's done. And we'll give all that money to my dad if that happens.
There we go.
But yeah, that's the thing is I wanted to put my money where my mouth is, literally. Correct. I want to pay these people so that I can get a message out. Because while I can afford it, and I hope to God I'm blessed to be able to afford like stuff like this for a long, long time, but that's never promised. But while I can afford it, I decided let's get a message out. Correct. And I wouldn't have never even imagined when I dreamed this up just weeks ago that I'd be sitting down with someone like you. I mean, it's just unbelievable. That just shows you just go out there and do something and put risk to it. And I want to back up a minute because this man is the Howdy homemade ice cream. This is the man right here. And you own that with your family, yourself, or your sister's involved?
Yes, I have everybody involved. And my sister's the GM. My sister-in-law makes the ice cream. She used to be a math teacher at Seven Lakes High School. She bowed out. My sister was a teacher for 17 years in HISD.
Wow.
So, man, they all run my shop. And so my shop is more than just ice cream. It's a training facility to teach these individuals soft skills and how to be employable later in life.
Man, you know what I mean?
So a lot of people look at it as ice cream, but we take it a step further, man. We really try to change their life in a real way. It's like teaching a kid a trade, you know, that sticks with them for the rest of their life. So you take these individuals that people wouldn't take a chance on, and you teach them something. Now it's stuck with them, you know, and so that's inspiring for me. And I tell people, you know, when they ask me, man, Howdy's doing so well, how much money does it make? You know, that's the wrong question because I don't measure my success off of financial gain, you know what I mean? The things I've learned from my individuals that work at Howdy is invaluable. You know, like when they look at themselves in the mirror, they see no flaws. You know what I mean? They don't judge who comes to that register. You
Yeah.
could be a janitor. You could be the president of the United
Yeah.
States. They're going to treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
You know, it's certain things that I see every day. They don't look at the clock and wonder when they're getting off. Like
Wow.
they want to work, and for the simplest thing, they don't.
Yeah.
You know, we throw a Christmas party every year for them, and when they play games, whoever wins, the entire room celebrates, man. They're jumping for joy. They're so excited for that winner. Nowadays, man, LeBron gets the scoring title, and people on the internet bashing, dude.
Yeah.
It's like we cannot just be genuinely happy for people.
Yeah.
We always want to compare, like, well, why wouldn't that me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They don't have that bone.
Yeah.
I don't have to look at my cash register and wonder if somebody's going to steal out of that. They don't have that in their DNA, you know? And so that's why in the strip center that Howdy's at, every restaurant is looking for more employees. We have a waiting list of 40, 50 people wanting to work there, you know? So it's stuff like that I've learned over my 2 years, man, that I couldn't pay for. You know? And that's
crazy.
No matter how many companies I open up, Howdy is going to be the most near and dear to my heart, man, from what I've learned from individuals that we call not normal.
Yeah,
you know?
there you go.
So,
So I hope, man, if you were listening to that, if anybody was listening to that, like I was, you need to go up to Howdy, obviously, and get some ice cream, but you need to learn from them folks that are working there. Because they don't look at the clock and wonder when it's time to get off. They cheer each other on for probably the smallest victories, right? And then no matter who walks in that door, I could see it too. I mean, I could see it 100%. Whoever walks in that door is getting treated the same way.
Same way, man.
And so sounds to me like we all need to go up there and support the cause and buy ice cream, but we need to look around and learn.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. That's who you're going to learn from.
Yes.
It's like the innocence of a child.
And that's crazy to think about, man. I went to Coach Gene Stallings' ranch. Gene Stallings used to be the head football coach for Alabama and Texas A&M.
Wow.
His son, Johnny, had Down syndrome, passed away. And so after talking to Coach Stallings for 7 or 8 hours, around his house, he has these little pictures that say, "I fine." So I asked him, I said, "What does I fine mean?" He said, "You know what? When my son Johnny took his last breath, the doctor said, 'Are you okay?' And he said, 'I fine.'" He said he always said, "I fine." He never complained. So in our house, we're not allowed to complain. He said, "I've won national championships. This ranch right here was given to me. 6,000 acre ranch was given to him." And he said, "I've learned everything I need to learn in life from my son Johnny with Down syndrome." And he said, "You know, I can motivate my athletes and I can get them fired up. But when I bring my son to those football practices, these guys have another sense of like camaraderie. They want to grab him. They want to give him balls." Another story that resonated with me was he said, you know, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys at that time, with every football practice, would sign a ball and give it to Johnny. And then they would get home, and Coach Stallings would say, "Johnny, where's that ball? Let me put it in a case." And Johnny every time said, "Oh, I don't know where it's at." And so he started to watch, and he said, "Johnny, what are you doing with these signed jerseys and balls that you get?" And he watched them the next practice. He would go into the parking lot and give them away to kids that wanted it more than he did, because he didn't glorify it. You know, he felt like, this is an amazing gift that I got, but I want to give that to somebody else. And so these little things that you can't teach, the football players learn from an individual with Down syndrome, man. And so it really breaks my heart to see people treat them like second-class citizens when we really can, like you said, man, learn so much from them. That's why I try to go out of my way to hang with Trey Brandt and Austin Hanson and these individuals that work at Howdy, because, I mean, they don't know it, but I learned so much from them, man. It makes me a better person just being around them, you know. So.
And then crazy, you see, I mean, the common thread here is you look at stuff that you and I have been through and what we've been able to accomplish, right? I'm the excuse killer. Somebody like you, we're excuse killers. Okay, we'll kill them. You come with your excuses. Let me know. No education, criminal background, addiction in your family, depression in your family, suicide in your family. Been there, done that. Don't want to hear the excuses. So you learn the most from people that have been through adversity and been beat up and been beat down. We're the ones that can share the most with you, and we're going to be relatable. You're more likely to end up like Roderick or myself than you are to end up like a famous NFL player, NBA player. And some of them have unbelievable turnaround stories too. But let's be real. You and I are attainable for everybody in our neighborhood. And so when I was getting to the common thread here, though, listen to what we're saying, people. This man is sitting here telling you, folks that we like to call special needs or disabilities, that's probably, you're going to learn more about being a human and being loving and kind and joy in life from them. And then you're going to learn about hustle and come up in business and risk from us. So it seems to me like the most beat up people and the biggest underdogs in society, and that's why I want to. We're going to talk more with each other.
Yeah.
It's the underdogs that are going to help you the most.
Oh, 1,000%.
You know,
no ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. And their tenacity to learn and they want to learn. You know, it's nothing you can't show them. It's nothing that they're afraid to try to learn, man. They have to learn how to walk. They have to learn how to talk. They have to learn how to shake a hand, look you in the eye, count currency, and they're doing this at 30, 40, 50 years old, man, and they don't bow down from it. They don't run from it, you know? So it's so much, man, that is like just humbling to me, man. But like you said, the underdogs, you know, the underdogs who you gonna learn from, man. You can idolize the people on TV and stuff like that, but a lot of the stuff is fluff. This is real. This is the foundation. This is the real stuff, man. You're responsible for your grades. You're responsible for your attendance. You're responsible for, you know, if you're responsible or not, your time management. These are things that can ensure where you go in life. I can run football as well as I want to, but if a coach doesn't see in me what I see in me, he ain't gonna give me the scholarship. NFL won't recruit me. But if I make it a point to be as smart as I can be, hustle as hard as I can be, find a niche and go after it, I control that. You know what I mean? I control how far I can go in that and how well I can do in that, man. And nobody else has a say on that. So that's the true, you know, leverage and power, I feel, is being in control, man. You put your dreams in another man's hands when you just try to be that athlete or that actor or whatever may have you. That you're asking for somebody else to see in you what you see in you, and you can't guarantee that. You know, you can't guarantee that, man.
That's something else. No, and that's where it goes back. We were talking last week about having a purpose. And finding it. And it's okay also to realize sometimes you might lose that purpose. Hopefully you don't go a lifetime losing your purpose, but it may happen a couple times. And that's where, you know, having that purpose, and when we talk about, you know, it's like the joy of a child and staying simple. And, you know, I think about something from Bible study the other night. I try to bring something in that I learned from Bible study if I remember them and bring them in. But when God was in the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve went and hid, right? And then when God found them and they came and they said, we're naked. And he said, well, who told you you're naked, right? And that's a big statement right there. And you can go many, many ways with it. But to this day and age, I'll liken it to, obviously, that was the devil that told them they were naked and had them thinking that, because they chose the fruit from the wrong tree. And they wanted knowledge and wisdom. And that knowledge and wisdom showed them they were butt naked, even though they had been butt naked the whole time. But the difference is that wasn't a bad thing of being naked. That was being naked like children playing in a bath at 1 year old, kind of naked. You're God's children. There was no such thing as having clothes or not having clothes then. This is a holy place. And all it took was one hater to say something, and it changed your whole perspective on yourself and your wife. All of a sudden, you're naked. No, you've been naked per se, but who told you you're naked? You know, that's where, who told you you're fat? I could say everything. Like, who told you you're fat? That's what God would say to you. Like, you got a big belly. If you've been going around your whole life happy and confident and loving on people, you're not fat. Now, when someone tells you you're fat and you believe it, you become fat. All of a sudden, you look at yourself. So that's where that just goes to learning from the Howdy folks. That Howdy team can teach them that too. See, they don't know if they're naked or clothed. They know that they're happy. They're trying to make the best out of each and every moment. They're living a more godly life than all of us, because they don't have the same thoughts as we do.
And those of us that, man, like, energy is everything. Their energy is contagious, man. You know, because of how much joy they have and how much love they have for themselves and others. Their energy, man, is infectious, man. And it'll rub off on you. Have a bad day, man. I'm telling you, they'll lift you up just off of their genuine energy. But you said something. We all have a purpose, man. And in church 2-3 weeks ago, it was talking about Peter and us having a servant's heart. You know what I mean? I feel like all of us are called to serve. And whatever that capacity is, I feel like if we have a servant's heart, you never can go wrong. A lot of times we get so infatuated with ourselves, you know. Social media. I saw you talking about posting pictures of spaghetti. And you don't know why we posted this picture, but we just hoping somebody come. Yeah. But you're caught in your world. You're caught in this me moment, right? Yeah. Like somebody come save me, and so you get fixated on me. Yeah. And I'm posting pictures of my duck lips and my food, and it's just you, and you're wanting the world to come just pour into you. But what are you pouring into anybody? You know what I mean? And so I thought about that, and I said, man, it's cold because that's how I feel about these blessings that you have, that I have. God gave me a lot, but they're not mine. They're his gifts. And so if I don't share it, he could take that from me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they're all his gifts. And the pastor told a story about how us fathers, and you probably do it like I do, man. Like I'll buy a crazy remote control car that I really want, but I say it's in my son Trace's name, right? So I'm like, Trace, bro, I bought you this, you know, lavish remote control car that goes 60 miles an hour, right? And all the while I'm like, but I want to drive it. Exactly. And so he was telling a story about how he bought something for his son, and his son was driving it, and he was like, can I try it? And son was like, wait, Dad. And he's like, I'm gonna wait. Son kept driving, and he was like, come on, man, can I try it? And son was like, nah, it's mine. Yeah. And the dad was like, what do you mean it's mine? Like, I bought this for you. You better give me this remote control. Yeah. And he said it's the same thing that God looks at us like. Like, he gave you the gifts of, you know, financial gain or words or whatever he gave you. And you look at it like, these are mine now. Y'all look at me. Look at my car. Look at my chain. Look at my house, my money, my girl, my whatever. Like, they're yours, man. And they're really given to you so you can give to the world and share with the world, you know what I mean? In the same way that father looked at his son like, how dare you, I gave you this. That's how he looks at us when we act like that. That's why, man, I try to give, and a lot of people look at me like, you too nice, you this. I'd rather be that than the opposite, you know what I mean? No, and sometimes most people, or a lot of people I should say, they only need a little spark.
I was one of those folks, okay? When I came out and I spoke on this on last week or 2 weeks ago, about some of my buddies that have come through for me. I remember getting released from jail and having nothing to my name. And my buddy, this is back when Prime Codes were out. He handed me a Prime Co phone, baby. I was ready. I had my Prime Co. He brought some slacks and a polo, and it was all wrinkled up and barely fit me. But to, you know, having people like that in your life, sitting there with a Prime Co when you're out. And so that's it. Like when you talk about giving, that was him giving. Maybe it wasn't a lot of money. Maybe it was for us back then at that age. That was a lot of money. Somebody coming up with a cell phone.
That's everything, man.
But that's where I feel like, you know, one, I enjoy giving. I love it. I love to see somebody's day made. I love random things, surprising people at the gas station that are up there looking for something they're short on, and I handle it. And but what I know from my own personal experience is that sometimes those little gifts, it don't have to be anything major. If you can do major, do major. But if you can't do much, $20, $40 to somebody that's really down and out, you never know when that 20 or that 40 is not for alcohol or drugs, but that's the one that is to go get the shirt and the tie. And that's the spark some people need. And I know you get scared. I know we all get scared. I lost my friend last year to suicide. Battled addiction for many years. I lost my mom to addiction. My mom passed away. Almost lost my sister. She's a superhero. She recovered. She came back. She's better than ever. She helps run my construction company. And you don't get them all back. She was one of the ones that could come back. But I know that sometimes those people that we lose along the way, and I'm not saying it's this little giving I'm talking about, but it could be. And is it worth it to find out? So at the end of the day, for me, I have so much more of an emotional tie-in, I guess, to giving. Because I know what it feels like to be on both sides. And I also know that, we're ready to give up on everybody, especially when they're broker than you. You're ready to give up on people. When you switch the roles, you need help. You don't want everybody to give up on you, right? But sometimes we go helping friends or family and we feel like they needed too much, this, that, and the other. And I understand there's a whole lot more to it, and we'll discuss. I'll open up about what I've learned about addiction in my family. I'll open up about that and talk about it. Because I understand there are certain things we do for folks that steal from us, and then we help them, and they bring them back in, we hire them, they rob, they go back to their binge in it. So I know it's a complicated story, but I also know the story so I can speak on it. And I'm not worried about what anybody has to say, because I've seen death right in my own arms from drugs. And that's where I would challenge people. You never know when that little gesture, and going back to giving about how it doesn't have to be money. We're talking about making a call. Somebody that may look up to you, and I want to challenge myself to do this. I want to challenge both of us to do this. I saw some comments the other day on stuff that you and I were on.
Yeah.
And I think it was a gentleman named Rodney or something.
Rodney,
it was on there. And my sister said, Rodney knew us when we were young and this, that, and the other. And I want Rodney to know we're not leaving you behind, man.
Yeah.
I see your comment on there. Yeah. You can come up here, Rodney.
Right.
And Rodney, you can call me and anyone else that's out there. But because sometimes it's a simple, and I'm so thankful to the Lord, Rodney, that you compliment us and you look up to us. That's unbelievable. But I want you to know, you're on the same level with me, sir. We different positions in your bank accounts and different positions in your job histories that we all go through in time, but we're all one.
We all one. Yeah.
And those are things, it just really, it opened up my eyes that I want to make sure throughout this journey. And putting this mic in front of me is kind of forcing me to do this. I force myself to do this, right? I'm the one. I'll take the check, please, right?
Yeah.
For right now, and but that's the thing is I want to make sure that I'm accessible, and I'm willing to make a simple phone call to someone, and that's what I was getting to, guys. When I was talking about a gift, like a simple gift. Now I got that guy Rodney on my mind, and I want to reach out to him. I want Rodney to know he can come right up here to this table. Rodney, tell your side of the story, because we need to hear it all. Yeah. We've all come up and come down at different rates, and what I'm trying to do with my little show here, the family show, is I'm trying to bring in as many people from different walks of life. Okay, it's not going to be, so far it's been us hard hitters that have overcome and turned the world upside down and opened businesses and that. We need to hear folks that haven't turned it around yet.
And they're trying to figure it out, man.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people could relate to them.
Exactly.
They can relate to Rodney. I've known Rodney since 4th, 5th grade, Amazing guy, man. We all fall on hard times, though. Even the best of us. We may just make it look good, but we all fall on hard times.
Yep.
Even with a lot, we still fall on hard times. So we're no different than Rodney, and that's why Rodney understands, like, the connection to always be there. I want people to always have access to me, because I'm thankful I have access to them, because there's times that they can give me a peace of mind. Because sometimes you just need that insight from just regular people, man, that don't understand your problems, because they see you as up here. But the bad thing about that is, when people see you as up here, they feel like they have nothing to offer you. Yeah. And they forget that, man, we just regular people at the end of the day, man. It's nothing special about me that's not special about you, bro.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
God is both of our fathers, man, and that's what that is.
Yeah.
The gift, like, I remember there's an individual named Eddie Hovis, and when I was 22, 23 years old, working for CPS as an investigator, I looked up to him because of what he had. He had the cars, he had the house, and I was like, dang, how? Because I'd never been around that and saw that. But something as simple as just allowing me access to see what you had and see that you're a regular guy with it, it was enough to send me that spark. Like, man, I could do this, what I mean? And so that sticks with me, and so that's why I always stay accessible to whoever. Yeah. Because you never know who may just get to sit and just, kick, conversation with me and be like, man, I could do that too. Yeah. Because that's what I want you to feel, man. Like, you can, and you can do it better than I did, man. Exactly. I started late in life. Yeah. You cats can start this at 20, 21 years old if you want to. You know what I mean? You didn't have to wait to 30. If I knew what I knew at 30, I would have started at 22, you know? So, that's where it's at.
No, that's the thing. And, I want to clarify too, like, when I opened up, I think another cast that we did, I was like, man, I've been blessed beyond comprehension, right? I've been blessed more than I would ever dreamed of and stuff. I want to make sure we're clear on that. That is not the financial side of things that I'm talking about. I'm talking about how much I realize God loved me. That's what I mean, is the power and the fire that it built inside of me. That's where I'm coming from, guys, when I talk about that. So keep in mind, like I tell my wife, I tell people all the time, I'm the richest man in the world. I was going to name this podcast. I still ain't figured out what I'm going to name it. That's why it's the Godfreed right now. We don't need to name it. We don't care. Okay, we're trying to spread a positive message. We wait on naming something, and that's the devil trying to hold back my message. So it doesn't need to be named.
Try to put it in a box.
Man. No, we're not boxed. So that's where it's, I'm the richest man in the world because I'm happy.
Correct.
And my family is happy.
Correct.
Okay, and I realized, number one, for me to be happy and for my family to be happy, I had to realize how much God loved me. Okay. And I talked about this before. We're in the greatest love story ever told. That's why God sent his only son. He could have done anything to prove to us on how to redeem ourselves and how to live forever in the light. He could have, the Lord could have done anything. And he decided to use a child being born and a son, you know, when you start talking about how you feel about your sons and daughters. So what was the whole message to life that he wanted us to know? Was love.
Yeah.
Because start thinking about losing your child. Think about the people that are losing their child today. Think about the people that have recently lost their child, and how that it's both the highest spectrum of loves when you have a child and if you lost a child, right?
Yeah.
That's the two ends of love.
Yeah.
So that's the story that we live in. So if you feel loved, you know, then you're on the right track. If you don't feel love, you need to realize that you are loved. May not be those family and friends that you were expecting the love from. You need to get closer to God. But it's, you know, that's when I say I've been unbelievably blessed more than I could realize. And see, when your mind is in that mentality and you understand what a true blessing is and what true happiness is, if money fits in your life and God thinks you're going to do right with it, it'll come more than you ever even need, okay? But it's not one before the other. It's that joy, that peace that comes over you in the dark times. I've talked about this. I had peace like I was rich as hell in some dark times in a cell before because I'd already transformed my mind and my heart into what I was going to do next. So I felt some of the best feelings and joy when I felt saved by the Lord that was in the jail cell.
Yeah.
And I knew as soon as they let, you know, that door opens, it's over.
It's over.
So that was before money came. And that's not what it's all about. So anyone that's out there waiting on, you got to get this much paper, you got to get to this point before you can start going. No, it's the other way around. You got to carry yourself around like you're already who you want to be, you know. Borrow a shirt from somebody, look sharp when you go to them interviews, you know, and take it to another level. It's got to be in your mind before you can get to your pocket.
Correct.
So,
Correct. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I love that, man. You're right.
but yeah,
that.
that's where, and so, you know, this thing's just really got to be down to earth like we want it to be. So,
It has to.
and just relating to folks and bringing folks in and making folks question themselves. And, you know, and I really, as time goes by, we'll have different guests in here. We're going to bring the experts. You know, the main, I'm going to bring Ariel up in here. We can bring the wives in here because that support team that we have, you know, that's the thing too. So you either need to be alone, okay, and be okay with being alone. And I understand you got to date, do what you got to do, but you better not let anybody get too close to you.
That's for sure.
Because that's where I go to. God, number one, God bless me with everything. But boy, without Ariel, I'd be smoked. It would already be over. She empowers me so much because of that belief in me, that confidence in me, you know, bad habits that I have, sticking through it with me, encouraging me, realizing I'm not perfect, me realizing she's not perfect, that our kids aren't perfect. But don't have anyone around you until it's that one. That you don't need to change who you are, right? You don't need to change how you act. You don't need to change anything. You should be in love and they should be right there with you. So that special partner in your life, sometimes that's a friend. It ain't even a wife. You're at a point right now where you're young, you're with a homeboy, but is it the right one? You talked about a change in environment. See, I've talked about that before. That's the old you are who you hang out with.
1000%.
Those environments, well, your first environment is your wife, okay? Or, you know, lady, it's for the husband. And if they're a bum, move around them. It is what it is.
Or they can't see the best in you. You know what I mean? You need somebody to see the best in you and push you. You know, I mean, I mean, it says it in the Bible. You know, you got to go back to the good book at the end of the day. You know, you know, that's a person that you can find and you trust and you spend lots of time with. So that person has to have your back for real, and that'll make you a better person. You know, but now you hit it right on the head, man. And I love to see that. I love to see what y'all are doing. A lot of people see that. And they may not like the picture. They may not comment, but they see it, you know? And that's what it's about. So keep putting it in their face because
I'm telling
you need that. They need that. The world needs that. Genuine, real love, not this other stuff that, you know.
That's where we're Ariel's an excuse killer too. She's on the excuse killer squad.
You got to.
Because, you know, people like the age difference thing and they want to find something bad about it, right? And that's where I say, go ahead and look. Let life pass you by. We're staying in your butt. You are getting stung right now for likes and comments.
For sure.
They pay us when you do a hateful comment. Do you realize that? I get paid when you do a hateful comment.
So do what you do.
Please go get everybody and get on there. I love it. That's you know, just there's a line. Man, Jelly Roll. I like Jelly Roll's music, man. I like a lot of different people's music, but I've been really showing him love lately. These guys know too. Roll. But one comment, you know, one of his songs, Creatures, probably one of my favorite ones that he does, and it says, you know, things that most people are afraid of only make me stronger. What does he say? I forget what he said. Things that most people are afraid of never let me down. That's what he says. My bad, y'all. Yeah. My bad, Jelly Roll. Shoot. But yeah, things that most people are afraid of never let me down.
That's cool.
That's what he.
I need to listen
and that's
to
the
him.
thing. No, you got to listen, because you know what's crazy too about my buddy that I lost, man, Peyton. I love you, buddy, in heaven. I love your mom, Tammy. I love you, and I miss you, buddy. And this is, I dedicate everything that we're doing to my buddy Peyton, man, that we lost. And that addiction, those drugs, and that depression will get you. It'll take your loved ones. It's taking them from me. But he's a big part of me being inspired to be up here, because I want to pass a message, because maybe there's somebody else out there right now that's thinking that they don't need to be here anymore. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna hurt us more than you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah, because 1,000%, man.
You're gonna be. It's all gonna be over for you and your family, your mom, your brother, your sister, the people that you really love. We're the ones that are gonna be down here hurting. Okay, and so don't do it to us. And there's all kinds of. I go from different days and different views on suicide, because it never hit home so close, right? Today, that's where I'm at. That's the view I'm at today, is the message I want to pass. I'm going to try this one out. Because if I could talk to Peyton again, I think I know he would stay. Yeah, if I said, don't hurt me,
he don't want to hurt anybody
me.
Else. They feel like they're just taking themselves out because they're in pain, not understanding that there's many lives that you're going to just destroy by those decisions, man. And that's real. You know, your moms and sisters and friends. I mean, I don't think any of them, because a lot of those guys who make that decision are amazing human beings, you know?
That's right.
And all of us is one step away from being where they at. Yeah. With that depression, we all suffered for that before. Yeah. We just was able to see that there's a brighter day one day, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because we get fixated in that moment where we feel like this is the end. Yeah. But everybody living the day is 100 from 100 with overcoming. Nothing that's taking us out. And so, you know, the hardest part is just understanding that this is temporary. Yeah. And in those temporary moments, that's why prisons are filled. Yeah. And that's why cemeteries are filled, because in that split second, we make decisions that are life-changing. Exactly. And that's why I'm big on, like, you know, second chances and stuff for, like, inmates and stuff like that, and recently formerly incarcerated and stuff like that. I'm working on a restaurant idea that will employ formerly incarcerated, because all of us is 1 second away from being where they're at. Mm-hmm. And so just like the special needs community, it's a shame that when those individuals get out, we don't provide opportunities for them, or we throw them to the graveyard shifts. You know what I mean? We don't allow them to have a job that can create some type of dignity for them, because we see them as, you know, an ex-con. You know what I mean? And that's I feel strongly about that. Like I have some feelings behind that. You know, because
I'm with you on
some of the greatest people I've met in my life have been incarcerated. Yeah. And some of the people that I've learned the most from are ex-cons, man, because of the knowledge and the things that they've been through, how they've overcome, changed their life. Mm-hmm. I mean, so my mind's spinning when it comes to that, man.
No, that's the cycle. See, that's where I want to go back to. How are we doing on time, boys? We looking good?
50 minutes.
50? Yeah. 50? Oh, damn. What's the deal, baby? Welcome to episode 3 and 4, baby. Number 3 and 4. You in 4 right now. Oh, dang. These boys going to have to edit. Yeah, we got so, I'm going to bring it in for a landing, but that's that cycle that we talk about. And when you're a kindergartner and you write down those dream jobs, right? Y'all roll with me on this. Feel me on this criminal justice system and inmates and wives to inmates and un-inmates. Feel me where I'm going. All those dream jobs are gone. Yeah. They're wiped away. Yep. Okay. So society, and we're talking about little charges. We're not talking about bank robbery and crazy stuff when you start as a kid. I know there's some bad people out there that can do. We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that. Yeah.
I'm talking about you getting popped with your little joint, and I know now they've loosened the laws on that. Still, whatever. Getting popped with anything when you're young, they take away all them dream jobs, and society wants to wonder why crime's going up, why people are getting robbed, why this. What are we doing? We're taking the youngsters that are already in bad environments, because that's mostly who's getting locked up. We're taking people that are minorities mostly, okay, or broke. Really, it don't matter the color of your skin. They love to lock you up when you're broke, okay? Yeah. And, you know, and here you are, all the dream jobs are gone. I'm locked up. You already told me, well, when you get out, you can't do nothing but you could be a trash man or something. That's it, right? Yeah. And so what are they supposed to do? Yeah. Man, you going to hustle. Yeah. One, you put me in a place with other people like me. So you put me locked up to learn how to be a gangster. You put me to gangster school if you're going to lock me up. Then when I get out and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do better. I don't want to go back in there. Okay, well, here's the list of things you can never do the rest of your life. So guys that don't have the right leadership or environment around them are going to run right to hustling drugs, robbing people. We create this crime cycle. And if we start diving in, guys like you and me got to get in there early and let people know, no, don't let them fool you. That because you got some kind of charge or you don't have the education you thought you need to have, you can be anything you want to be. Do you want to be a policeman? And you can't do that because you're not allowed to have a criminal record. Man, open up your own police force. Go private. You could have a bigger police force than any city. Do it yourself. Right. You want to be a teacher and they won't let you. Open a school. Have a dream to open the school. Yeah.
It starts with a dream, man. You never can let that dream die. That's where it starts.
That's it. And that's where we got to get the news out to folks that are right there in the beginning, especially youngsters. When you feel like there's no hope ahead, no, there is hope.
A lot.
There's a lot of hope. Yeah. So, but no, this is, man, this has been cool, exciting.
Real cool, man.
We got a whole lot more to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to have to get the living room set up.
Yeah.
Feel free to bring anyone up here that you want to chat. You know, we're not. It don't have to be business owner. It could be a business owner. It could be an NFL owner, or it could be the guy that brings the mail.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't care. It could be someone jobless, homeless. It doesn't matter, because sharing a message with all of us and opening up and having some rawness and truth to it, like we're trying to bring to the game here, man, it's got to be good for people. I want to keep it going. I'm never gonna let it up, man.
And I would like to support y'all in any way possible. So whatever this podcast needs, let me jump in, man. I'll help get the furniture or whatever, man. Just to support what y'all are doing, man. So
it's going down, man. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Yes, sir.